Oh, my friend, pull up a chair. It's late, I know, but there's something that's been heavy on my heart, and I need to tell you. It's about how I used to see myself, and how God just completely shattered that image and rebuilt me. You know how it is, growing up in a place like ours, the pressure, it's a living thing, isn't it? It breathes down your neck, whispering, no, shouting expectations. From the moment I could walk, it felt like I was carrying the weight of my family's hopes, my community's dreams. My mother, bless her heart, she'd always say, "You are our future. You must make us proud." And my father, a good man, but a man of few words, his silence was louder than any lecture. It screamed, "Don't fail." So I tried. Oh Lord, how I tried. I hustled, I studied, I worked odd jobs after school, anything to prove my worth. But every stumble, every setback, it wasn't just a mistake. It was a confirmation of my deepest fear, that I wasn't enough. I remember one time I'd poured my heart into a business venture, selling clothes, trying to make a name for myself, get some capital. It failed spectacularly. Lost the little money I had and a good chunk of my auntie's savings, too. The shame, it clung to me like a wet blanket. I could practically hear the whispers in church, at the market, the pity in people's eyes. It was like I had a giant invisible sign over my head screaming, "Failure." And I believed it. I truly believed I was destined for nothing but disappointment. I'd walk into our Sunday service, listen to the pastor talk about God's love, about being children of God, and I'd feel like a fraud. How could God love me? This mess? This person who kept letting everyone down, including myself? It's just that I felt so far away from him, like the prodigal son, only I hadn't even left home yet, but my heart was already in a distant country, lost in shame. Luke 15:20, it says, while he was still a long way off, that was me. Spiritually, emotionally, I was a million miles away, convinced that if God saw me, he'd just shake his head and turn away. My identity was a patchwork quilt of my failures, my inadequacies, and the constant fear of not measuring up. I didn't know who I was without the striving, without the desperate need to earn love and acceptance. I was so caught up in what I did that I forgot about who I could be. And the saddest part, I pushed people away. Because if they got too close, they'd see the real me, the broken me, the one I hated. It was a dark, lonely place, my friend. A place where my spirit felt chained, heavy, like Psalm 116 speaks of. You have freed me from my chains, but I hadn't felt that freedom yet. I was still bound by my own self-condemnation, by the harsh internal voice that mimicked every critical word I'd ever heard. And sometimes, in those quiet, desperate moments, I'd even wonder if God himself had forsaken me. Like Psalm 27:10 says, though my father and mother forsake me, the Lord will receive me. But I didn't believe he would receive me. Not then. Not the me who was so unlovable. The breaking point, it came one afternoon. I was sitting on the stoop, the sun beating down, but I felt cold, hollow. Another opportunity, a big one, had just fallen through. It wasn't just a job, it was supposed to be my redemption, my chance to finally prove I wasn't a complete waste. And when the call came, the polite but firm, "We've decided to go with someone else," something inside me just snapped. I didn't cry, not really. It was more like a silent, internal scream. A part of me just died right there. I remember thinking, this is it. I'm done. I had nothing left to give. No more fight. No more hope. I was bankrupt in every sense of the word. And in that utter emptiness, that profound despair, a tiny, almost imperceptible whisper started. It wasn't a voice, not really. More like a feeling, a warmth, like a faint light in a very dark room. I don't know why, but I just started talking. Not praying, not really. Just talking to the air, to whatever was out there. I confessed everything, my shame, my anger, my deep, deep exhaustion. I told God, if he was even listening, that I had nothing to offer, absolutely nothing. And then, like a deep sigh leaving my body, I felt a release. It was like Luke 7:42 about the two debtors, and when they had nothing with which to repay, he freely forgave them both. In that moment, I realized I had nothing to repay. No good deeds, no perfect life, no success stories to impress him with. I was completely empty. And it was in that emptiness that I felt grace. Not something I earned, but something freely given. It was terrifying because it meant letting go of the idea that I had to do something to be worthy. That night, I picked up my dusty old Bible, and my eyes fell on Luke 15 again. But this time, it wasn't the son's journey that struck me. It was the father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son, threw his arms around him, and kissed him. Wow. My friend, I read that, and it hit me like a physical blow. God wasn't waiting for me to clean myself up, to achieve something, to make myself presentable. He saw me in my mess, in my despair, a long way off, and he ran. He ran to me, not with judgment, but with compassion. That image, it shattered something in me. All my life, I'd believed love was conditional, that you had to earn it. But here was a father running, not walking, running to embrace a son who had squandered everything. It was the first time I truly understood what Romans 8:15 meant, that the spirit you received does not make you slaves again to fear. Rather, the spirit you received brought about your adoption to sonship. And by him, we cry, Abba, Father. Abba, Daddy. Not a distant, demanding deity, but a warm, loving father who wanted me just as I was. It was a slow, painful process, shaking off the chains of fear and self-condemnation. My mind kept trying to pull me back, whispering old lies. You're not good enough. You'll fail again. But then I'd remember that image of the running father, and I'd cling to it. I started noticing his unfailing love, as Psalm 36:7 says, "People take refuge in the shadow of your wings." I started seeing it in the kindness of a church member who offered me a small, dignified job, no questions asked, in the unexpected quiet comfort of a sunrise, in the simple fact that I was still breathing, still here. He hadn't withheld his tender mercies, as Psalm 40:11 promises. He was preserving me, even when I didn't feel worthy of preservation. And I began to pray differently, not just asking, but speaking to him as Abba, a father who saw me, truly saw me, and loved me not for what I did, but for who I was in his eyes.
And that, my friend, is where my identity completely changed. It wasn't a sudden lightning bolt, but a gradual, beautiful unfolding. Slowly, painstakingly, I started to believe that I was truly a child of God, not because I earned it, but because he chose it. Ephesians 1:4-5. For he chose us in him before the creation of the world to be holy and blameless in his sight. In love, he predestined us for adoption to sonship through Jesus Christ, in accordance with his pleasure and will. Wow, think about that. Before I was born, before I made any mistakes, before I even knew him, he chose me. He predestined me for adoption. It wasn't a consolation prize, it was his pleasure and will. That means my identity isn't defined by my past failures or my current struggles, or even what my family or community expects of me. My identity is rooted in his eternal, unwavering love. I am his child. 1 John 3:1. See what great love the Father has lavished on us, that we should be called children of God, and that is what we are. That's what I am. That's what we are, my friend. It's like being given a new name, a new citizenship. Philippians 3:20. But our citizenship is in heaven. This world's labels, its judgments, they don't stick to me anymore. Because my true home, my true belonging is with Him. It's like He stripped off my old, tattered clothes of shame and failure, and like the Father in Luke 15:22-24 said, "Quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found." He clothed me with Christ, Galatians 3:27, made me His righteousness, 2 Corinthians 5:21. It wasn't about what I did, but what He did, Titus 3:5. He saved us not because of righteous things we had done, but because of His mercy. His mercy, my friend, it changes everything. The fear, the constant striving, the need for external validation, it all started to melt away. When you truly grasp that your life is hidden with Christ in God, Colossians 3:3, the petty worries of this world, they just lose their grip. My worth isn't in my bank account or my accomplishments. It's in the fact that I am loved by the King of the universe. And because of that, I can actually stand tall. I can look at my past mistakes not as defining failures, but as part of the journey that led me to this incredible truth. I'm still human. I still mess up. But now, when I stumble, I don't spiral into self-hatred. I remember that I am continually with Him, that He holds me by my right hand, as Psalm 73:23 says. He redeems my life from the pit and crowns me with love and compassion, Psalm 103:4. This love, this unfailing love, it's better than life itself, Psalm 63:3. And it makes me want to share it, to tell everyone, like the servant in Luke 14:21, to go out quickly into the streets and alleys and bring in the poor, the crippled, the blind, and the lame to this feast of God's love. Because if He loved me, a broken, striving, often failing man, then He loves everyone. He delights in those who put their hope in His unfailing love, Psalm 147. So, yeah, my friend, that's my story. It's just that knowing who I am in Him, it's not just a belief, it's a whole new way of breathing, a whole new way of living. It's freedom. Our true identity is not found in what we do or what we achieve, but in the boundless, unconditional love of God who calls us His own. He sees us not for our past failures, but for the beloved children He created us to be, lavishing us with grace and adoption. Oh, Abba Father, my heart is so full tonight, so grateful for this journey you've walked with me. Thank you for seeing me when I was still so far off, for running to me with open arms, not with judgment, but with a love that redefines everything. Forgive me for the years I spent striving, trying to earn what you freely gave, for believing the lies of inadequacy and shame. Help me, Lord, to fully grasp this incredible truth of my adoption, that I am your child, chosen and loved, not because of anything I've done, but because of your mercy. Let this identity sink deep into my bones, guiding my steps, silencing the fear, and empowering me to live as a true reflection of your boundless grace. May my life be a testimony to your unfailing love, a beacon for others searching for their worth. In Jesus' name, amen.